What's up, everybody? My name is Del. Welcome to another episode of Movie Swap. This is episode number 3. And this one is, I'm excited for this one because this is one of the more popular members of the Bluetooth community, at least the part that I frequent. And she's one half of the Double Feature podcast. She's one, I don't know, fifth, sixth, eighth of the Lost Girls. And maybe she can tell us how many members there are because I lose track, but it is none other than Meka.
Hi.
Hey, Meka.
Oh, thanks, Del. Thanks. That's a great intro, and thanks for inviting me. I was so excited to be asked.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So, first question is, I'm go back to that Lost Girls thing. How many members are there? Because I watched the streams, both of them, and there are a lot of you guys up there.
Yeah, well, I'll list everybody. So it's me, Kira, Sue, Jess, Coco, Mel, and Michelle. So 7.
So seven, and
Yeah,
I guess Mama Blu-ray, the unofficial eighth.
yeah. She's the honorary. Yep, our honorary member. Yep.
All right, all right. And now I know every stream you get this question, you go on I gotta bug you about it. When's the channel coming? When's the YouTube channel coming?
Oh, so actually, me and Kira, I'm gonna post it tonight. We're actually gonna do a live stream Q&A for next Friday. So I'm just gonna post it. We said we're just gonna put it out there. We're gonna make it do what it do, but it's gonna be a Q&A. So just me and Kira hanging out, trying to learn the StreamYard. So if you want to come in and ask some questions or just hang out, that's gonna be our plan.
Okay, it's not hard. I've only done it a couple times, and it's real pretty intuitive, at least to get through a stream. I'm sure there's a lot of tricks that I don't know, but
Mhm. Yeah, all the
somebody
screens
could.
is like navigating all those screens, Dell. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah,
don't. Do you want to be simple? We've been trying to play with minimize it, and so I don't know. We're gonna
right,
have
right.
fun with it.
It's pretty easy, pretty point and click. So
Yeah.
if you need help, somebody will help you. That's for
I
sure.
know. That's why I said I'll source somebody. So we're just gonna have fun. So next Friday, we think we're gonna do like 8 o'clock. So just not too long, just a fun Q&A.
Okay, no problem. So before we get started, I'm gonna jump out into the chat to see who all is here. And the first name I
What's
see is
up?
Bob's Blu-rays. Says, "What's up? You know I'm here for this. Looking forward to seeing what movies you swapped. Couldn't have a better guest on. I totally agree,
Oh,
Bob.
thanks, Bob. Bob's awesome.
Bob is awesome. He came up with that great Hall of Fame idea and
Oh
inducted
yes.
Tony last week.
And
And
you're
Tony,
the next one, right?
yeah,
Yep.
I'm the next one. I was shocked and amazed that Tony uttered my name. It's like when the
Oh.
big star knows who you are, the little person. So I was very honored, flattered for that one. And speaking of the Hall of Famer, there he
Oh,
is.
Tony.
Good evening, Tony. And Tony's just saying hi to Bob. Holland
Oh,
Oates is in the
Holland.
house. It's a
Hi,
swap
Holland.
time. All right, what's going on, Holland? Holland is in just about every stream
Oh, yeah.
that
Great
I'm in.
supporter, too. Yep.
Very supportive. So I'm sure any ones that I miss, he's in. And there's Tony saying hi to Holland. And Mizzy is here. What's up,
Hi,
Mizzy?
Missy. I know my fellow Massachusetts person.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna have some news about Mizzy later on in the show.
Awesome.
And here's my guy, my brother KB from KB Loves Movies.
KB.
He says, "What up?" He's been waiting on this one.
Oh,
Everybody,
thanks, KB.
yeah, everybody out there in the chat, send KB some positive vibes. I just
Hmm.
heard through the magic of Instagram that he is in the hospital.
Hmm.
So, but he is well enough. He says he's looking forward to everybody's content to keep him busy for the next couple of days while he's in there. But yes, send him all the good vibes you can.
Yes.
And yep, Tony saying hey to KB, Mizzy saying hey. And I think this next person that's coming up. That
Kira.
is that is Kira. For
Trouble.
yep, for the two people who might not know this, who are watching, Kira is Mizzy's. I'm sorry, is Mika's twin sister, and she calls her the double.
Yep.
There's Tony just saying hey, and got a lot of people saying hi back and
Yep.
forth. And
Yeah.
I have to acknowledge this person we just spoke her up,
Oh, Mama
Mama Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. I know, love her.
Of Me Too. She's been in all the streams, and like I said, she's the unofficial eighth member of the Lost Girls, at least in my
Yes.
eyes.
Yes.
All right, let's see if anybody else new is in here. Not really. We got a lot of people saying hey back and forth to each other. So and getting some get well wishes for Mr. KB.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely wish you a speedy recovery, my man.
Yep. Send some positive energy, love and light your way, KB.
Yeah, exactly. And there's Kia saying hey to Mama Blu-ray and KB thanking us all. And Latulo Moore is in the
Oh,
house. What's going on, Latulo? So, all right, let's go ahead and start to get into it. And I'm gonna have you go ahead and intro the movie that you suggested that I watch.
okay. So I had recommended to Dell, okay, the Devil's, can you see the Devil's Backbone? Yep. So this is I love Guillermo del Toro. He's one of my favorite directors. So I had to make sure one of his films was on the list. And I think always my top three for him are The Devil's Backbone, Pan's Labyrinth, and Cronus. So I had to recommend this one because I think out of most of his titles, I don't really hear a lot of people talking about this one the most. The film is set in 2001. It's a ghost story. It's got a mixture of elements, but it follows a young boy who's 12. His name is Carlos. And his father was killed because it's happening during the Spanish Civil War. So his father was killed, and he's forced to live and move to an orphanage that's ran by a woman and a former teacher, an older gentleman who are kind of loyalists to the militia. So it follows him in his transition there. And while there, he encounters the spirit of a young boy who may or may not be the apparition of a child who went missing at the orphanage. Because I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really, really great ghost story. One thing I like about Del Toro is that he does a great job of mixing like a good haunting story as well as elements of pain, because this one is pretty sad.
Yes.
It really is really sad. But also I think it has some elements of hope there as well, which I do enjoy with his movies. And Del Toro always said out of all his films, this is the one he that means the most to him because he can relate a little bit more to the elements from his childhood into kind of where he is now. So that's a brief synopsis of the film. I'm hoping I'm giving a lot of background without giving too much away. But yeah, it just follows our young Carlos and what he's dealing with at the orphanage.
No, you did a great job. You didn't give too much away at all because there are a lot of layers, and to be honest, saying that it's a ghost story is kind of selling it short.
Yes, yes, yes. It's so many, like I said, it's so many things, Dell, because the ghost story kind of takes a little bit of a back burner because, like I
Right.
said, you're dealing with the war that's occurring. You're dealing with these relationships between the adults as well. You're dealing with kind of some espionage with like militia. You're dealing with kind of quote unquote murder that may have occurred. Is a lot of elements.
Right. So, and I'm glad you mentioned that the ghost story kind of takes a back, sits on the back burner for a bit because that kind of threw me for a minute when I
Mm-hmm.
watched it. So, because they set it up really right at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
it's set up like, oh, okay, this is this there's this ghost right here, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have to deal with this ghost a lot. There
Mm-hmm.
are gonna be some things happening with this ghost. Now, there are things happening with it, but the movie veers away from the
Yep.
ghost for
Mm-hmm.
a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they mention it, they talk about it a little bit, but then they um they're doing other things.
Yes.
Right. So and then it comes back to that. So first time that you saw it, let me ask this question. The first time that you saw it, how did that bother you at all, or how did you feel about that?
No, no, because like I said, initially I went into her because those horror elements because it is a ghost story. But I did enjoy that the ghost story did take a back seat, and the movie kind of shows you that even though you have that as a theme of the movie, there's something else that's occurring, and that's this relationship with Carlos and these adults, and also, like I said, everything that's happening on the outside. And then it does a good job of tying in that ghost, like why do we have the ghost, kind of what's the representation of the ghost with all those different elements, occurring in the film. So I kind of love that, and I think Del Toro does a good job of also blending kind of fantasy with like real world things that are occurring. The fantasy always seems to take a back seat to the story. Is just interwoven just to kind of give you a little, kind of to play with it, a better way to tell the story. But the monsters always, or the ghosts always take the back seat. So I love that.
Yeah. So in this movie, so you said there are a lot of elements. There are a whole lot of
Oh,
elements going on. I was not prepared for how much other stuff is happening.
hmm.
And for one, just to start, you kind of set the movie up like one of the kids is a villain. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, so yeah, for one of the kids, he's set up like he's if not a villain, maybe like a low tier villain.
yeah, yeah.
And then we eventually get around to why he is the way he is. So I
Hmm.
really enjoyed that part of it. And then they introduced the actual villain. Well, they introduce him early, but we don't
Hmm.
really understand that this person is the villain until at least halfway through the movie.
Yeah. And you already don't like that person initially, but then he really becomes unlikable
Right.
as the movie progresses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause he gives off this person gives off creepy vibes right away.
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
going to spoil just a scene.
Okay.
Um, so the kids have kind of wandered into this place where the ghost is supposed to be, or at least one of the kids, and then the others come down, and then this person shows up. What are what are you kids doing
Hmm.
down here? That kind of thing. And then I guess to kind of show that he's the dominant person here, he actually cuts one of the kids on the face.
Yeah.
At that point, that to me was like, I know there's a ghost going around and they're talking about all of these stories, but that for me, that was like the most horrifying part of the movie right there.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's what I love about the film because, like I said, especially with Del Toro, you can have these monsters or these ghosts, but he really shows you again that the true villains or the true things you really need to worry about are those other people, real live breathing people who can be just as scary or just as menacing. And also I like that the ghosts, which we are deemed to be scared of, are usually sometimes the ones that's trying to help you. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
like that. Yeah, I like that twist in it.
And that reminded me of another movie, not one that Del Toro directed, but one that I think he produced.
Mhm.
And I forget the actual director's name, but his name, Guillermo del Toro's name, is plastered over the top. Like he presents this movie, and it was The Orphanage. Did you ever see The
Oh, yes.
Orphanage?
Yes, yes, yes. I haven't seen it in a while, but no, I enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. And soon as this movie started, that was my first thought. Was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of Orphanage vibes here,
Mhm, mhm.
and I had forgotten that I knew he was involved with it somehow, but I thought he directed it.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
while the movie's playing, while Devil's Backbone is playing, I kind of wander over to my shelf and I picked up The Orphanage because I have that,
Mhm,
and then I saw that he didn't direct it. I was like, okay, but it makes sense to me that he would produce this movie because
mhm.
there are a lot of similar themes happening.
Yeah, you definitely can see the different elements, yep.
Yeah, yeah. So now, if there's a drawback to me, a little bit of a drawback for me to this movie, because we got to talk about all the
Okay.
things.
Yep.
Um, is that with the ghost story and the other things happening, it's like two parallel stories that aren't really connected to each other. They're
Mhm,
just kind of going along at the same time and
mhm.
involved one with the adults and one with the kids.
Yes.
So it kind of took a little long for me for it to come together.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
once it got together, I was fine with it. I was fine with it. So my question to you, because obviously you're a fan of the movie, is not what did you think about that, but which story held your attention more?
Mm. I think I love the story. Well, especially Carlos, but the head mother, Carmen, I really
Hmm.
kind of, because at first you didn't really know kind of what her story was, and for a little while
Right.
you don't really understand kind of her background, and you can see that there's kind of well, you later find out there's a relationship with the so-called villain, and then there's also this other relationship with the other teacher, which I
Hmm.
liked how they played with. But
Hmm.
Carmen was a mystery to me because I really kind of felt that her background, you could tell she was pro militia, or pro, the side of the army that was trying to rebel against the Spanish army.
Right.
And you don't kind of know what brought her to the orphanage. She's trying to take care of these kids. She's lost some things along the way, so that's not a spoiler, but she lost her leg.
Hmm.
So she's dealing with that affliction. She's dealing with the affliction of the war. She's dealing with kind of wanting to leave, but also wanting to stay too, because she's indebted to kind of helping these kids. So I kind of really loved following her story, and to kind of, because it really wasn't fleshed out too much about her.
No, but we got enough where
Yeah.
we could latch on to the character,
hmm
and I really enjoyed that. And you mentioned that she had lost her leg. So, what was your initial reaction to that first time you saw it?
Oh, see, I always am about the story, so I was just kind of like, oh, how did that happen? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And kind of how she's
Hmm.
dealing with it, because it's something that you could tell she hates, and she hates to be dependent on it, but it's something she's relying on, because she can't function day to day without having this appendage. You know what I mean? It's like this
Hmm.
prosthetic that she's had. So I was really enthralled by that, because it made me more interested in her character, to kind of figure out how did that occur and how it kind of shapes her. So
Right.
I thought that was really integral to the story.
I don't think we ever got an answer to
No,
that how she got the leg.
no.
Yeah.
Not that I can remember. It's just something that she has, but they didn't really go into detail as to how that occurred.
Right. Right. It was it is what it is.
Mm-hmm,
Right.
yep.
And we could assume that it has something to do with the war at hand.
Yeah, maybe with the war. Yep.
Right, but we never really get an answer. So when I my first thought, because they didn't really show her the first time when she's standing up, they don't really show her legs at
hmm
all. And then when we finally see it, so my first reaction, it was just like, oh, okay. So this
Yeah.
just adds a whole nother layer
Oh yeah.
to this person and to the relationships that she has with the two other gentlemen that are there.
hmm
And so at that point I was kind of like, and do I latch onto her? Do I Is she somebody I should root for, or is she
Oh
not?
yeah.
Because at first they kind of presented like the evil head mistress
Yeah,
almost.
that's what I thought initially too. And that, I like how the movie did that, because out of all the three, well, it's four adults, but out of the adults, you really didn't know kind of really who to really latch onto, or who was really likable or not, until it kind of goes on a little bit.
Right, right. So and from that point it was kind of a turning point, and I appreciate that Del Toro did it that way.
hmm
And then of course with the writing, um nothing is in the movie accidentally, as they always
Oh
say.
yes,
Nothing
yes.
is an accident. So there is actually a payoff to this, to
hmm
her having the one leg. There's actually a payoff to this later on in the movie.
hmm
And when it got revealed what that payoff was,
Yeah.
it was like a light bulb going off over my
Oh
head,
yeah.
because I heard them say things, and it was like, oh, that's why they said that.
Yeah.
So I really like that there was a payoff for that particular part of the
hmm
movie. Um, so of course the obvious thing to do with a movie like this is to compare it to later Del Toro movies. Was this his
Oh.
first? I can't remember if
Yeah, this
this
was
was
his first big feature, like debut. That's
right.
what he classifies it as, but yeah, it was. And this is the one out of his filmography that he says means the most to him.
Yeah, and with a lot of directors, it's that first movie
Mhm.
definitely means the most, and because it's usually one that took the most work to put out.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because he's had some bad experiences. I think the worst was Mimic. He's always said that was his worst experience working on a film.
right.
And oh yeah, and I love Mimic. I think my favorite from him is Pan's Labyrinth, which I think is just like a masterpiece.
It is, and I was angling towards that, but go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about Pan's Labyrinth. So I'm watching this movie, and for me, with the ghost story, and then juxtaposed with the whole war thing, I was feeling a
Mhm.
lot of Pan's Labyrinth
Yeah.
vibes, and it almost seems like this movie was practice for that one.
Mhm. I got that too, Dell. And like you said, it's so funny with the trajectories because they both still dealing with war. We all also had the it was a ghost, but that monster too. Kind of
Right,
in the background
right.
that we're dealing with, and also too when you look at the two males, you know what I mean, on each end of the movie. Kind of you have I think his name was Jacinto in Devil's
Hmm.
Backbone, who kind of turns out to be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then we have the father figure in Pan's Labyrinth. So I could definitely see those elements.
Yeah, so for this, so I was like, okay, so I'm seeing all this similar stuff, and the one thing that struck me is that okay, by the time he got to Pan's Labyrinth, he had more money,
Oh
obviously,
yeah, more budget. Yeah.
more budget, and B, he was more polished
Yes.
as a
Yes. Yeah.
director.
Hmm.
So, because one thing I go into a Del Toro movie for are the visuals.
The visuals. Yes.
And in this movie, I thought it was interesting because he didn't have that budget, so he didn't have the visuals, the crazy visuals like in
Hmm.
Hellboy and Pan's
Hmm.
Labyrinth and
Hmm.
all his other movies. But he used the people to give us as good visuals as he could possibly do, as he
Yeah.
possibly could. And it started really with Carmen for me. That
Hmm.
was the first
Hmm.
visual. It was like, oh, okay. And the first striking visual, because my first thought when I saw the ghost, to be honest, was like, I don't know.
Oh really? Tell? I thought. I thought the ghost for a little bit of the segments. There were some segments where I thought the ghost was scary.
Yeah, he
You
was
didn't think
at
so,
first he
Tell?
was kind of had some wonky moments, but
Okay.
it was like Jaws for me in that sense, because I don't
Okay.
know if you know that the history behind the shark and Jaws. It didn't work, and
Yeah.
they had all these problems with it. So
Yeah.
Spielberg had to do other things to make
Mhm.
it work. So that's kind
Yeah.
of where I felt about this. I was like, okay,
Okay.
the ghost is kind of, but he's doing a lot of other things to make it
Oh,
work.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, especially
so
playing,
yeah.
like, I think too some parts for me, the ghost was pretty scary, but I think, like, the shadows, the kind of, the hallway scenes, you know what I mean, where it's not really
Hmm.
that close up, those were really terrifying too. So it was more to in what you didn't see, which I liked about, The Devil's Backbone, because he does a
Hmm.
great job, Del Toro, too, of building that atmosphere and that tension.
Right, and he definitely does that. All right, there's a couple of other things we'll get to before we wrap up this particular movie. But let's see who is hanging out with us in the chat. We're up to 16 right now,
Oh,
which
awesome.
I'm gonna pat Mika on the back for, because
Oh.
this is only the third episode, and that is a record so far.
Oh,
And
great.
got up to 10 likes. So yeah, go ahead and like. Uh, we got 16. I should have 16 likes, right? So let's
That's right,
everybody
like,
get a like,
smash that button.
smash the button. Definitely subscribe to Mika on IG, and the YouTube channel is actually up, so
Oh,
you can
yes.
go. So you can go
And
ahead and
video
subscribe to her.
video next Fri well, live stream next Friday.
Live streams coming up, so you can go ahead and subscribe to her as well on YouTube too. And out here we got some more people saying hey to each other. There was Kira again
Mhm.
and Mizzy, and a lot of back and forth with this.
Oh, yeah, that's what's so great. I always love that everyone's saying hi to everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially our favorite Mama Blu-ray.
Oh,
All you other guys are great, but I mean, come on, you can't beat your mama, right?
yeah, I love Mama Blu-ray.
And we got some more well wishes for
Mhm, mhm.
KB. All right, so let's see if we got some questions down here, other than of course Bob always flirting with Mama Blu-ray, manifesting lots of healing energy your way, KB, and that's from Kira.
Yep,
Bob, yes, KB, prayers to you. Hope you're hanging tough.
yep.
Mama Blu-ray letting us know she's
Oh,
good.
look at that flirting back, yep.
Yep, flirting back always. Nothing wrong with that. Devil's Backbone is such an underrated gem. Love it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm probably gonna ask it again at some point if we down the road, not tonight. But do you guys often disagree on movies?
I'm trying to think. Really not that I can think of. For the most part, kind of what I like, she tends to like, and what um she doesn't like, I don't like really. So I think I would have to really think, but usually we kind of have the same taste in movies.
Okay, okay, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, we have
More
good
good vibes.
discussions about, we always dissect the film after we watch it. So kind of to get takeaways on what she got from it and what I got from it. Yeah.
Okay. KB says the Devil's Backbone, the gender accompaniment, I think he meant genre, the genre accompaniment to Pan's Labyrinth. And yeah, we were
Yeah.
just talking about that. KB thanking everybody.
Hmm.
Hard Copy Blues is in the house. What's going on? He says, hey, Mika
Ah,
and Dell. KB, hope all's on the up and up.
awesome. Loving the love.
Oh, absolutely. Tony is still in here. So yeah, Culture Trinity's in the house. I was about to get back to it, but Culture
Oh, hi
Trinity is
Trini.
in the house. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh wait, oh let me not miss this guy, Fish, the film
Oh, hey
collector.
Fish. Oh,
What's up,
Fish is
Fish?
awesome too. Yep.
Yes, Fish is absolutely awesome, and he says, "How's everybody doing tonight?" I'm doing pretty good,
Doing
Fish. I
good.
hope
Doing
you are
good.
too. All right, everybody's saying hello to Fish. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to this movie. So my next question is really well, why recommend this movie to me? Let me put it that way. What made you think I would enjoy this movie?
Well, I think Zell too, you like a little bit because I put it in the horror category, even though it's not really horror. It falls into that category because of the, I think, the ghost story.
Hmm.
Um, but as a fan of Del Toro, I'm always recommending his films, and because this is like one of his initial, I always love to recommend it just to kind of give people get their input on it, and because it has so many different themes, I'm always curious as to what someone's takeaway will be from it. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
always have it as high on my recommend list. So I
Okay,
thought it would, you would enjoy it.
I did enjoy it. So now on those themes, is there anyone in particular you want to ask me about, or did we cover it?
Let me see. Well, oh yes, I wanted to ask you because one of the themes they always ask is what is a ghost, and kind of they try to answer that through the movie with different things. Because at the end they give an answer of a ghost is someone who's dead, but they haven't really finished a task, so they're
Hmm.
repeating their life or that cycle over and over again. And they also look at kind of a ghost representing that the past is always present. So in that question, what do you, did you take away anything from that when it, because they asked that a couple times throughout the movie, what is a ghost?
Yes, they do. All right, so I got a kind of weird take on that, and
Okay.
part of it stems from the house I grew up in. All
Okay.
right, and my brothers and my sister, we often joke, and when I say joke, I mean joke like we not sure,
Okay.
but we always say that the house we lived in was haunted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's one of those houses, and people would say, well, it's just the house settling, or this, or that, or
Mm-hmm,
this,
mm-hmm.
but there's like times that I legit heard footsteps like in the
Wow.
house,
Yeah.
like just footsteps. So
Wow.
people, I tell people that maybe 15 of you might have just jumped off the stream. I don't know, but
No, I believe that though. Yeah.
yeah. So for me, I agree with that. Yeah, a person who's no longer alive, and I never really assigned that they had to, or felt that they had to have some sort of task going,
Mm-hmm.
um, but maybe so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that brings me back to another movie, the movie Ghost Story. Have you seen Ghost Story?
Oh, wait, is that the A24 film?
Yeah, that's the
I'm
A24 one.
I'm not sure if I've seen that one.
It's horror-ish. It's
Okay.
horror adjacent because it's a
Okay.
ghost story, but it's not really a ghost story. It's kind of like the life span of a ghost.
Okay. So you're following a ghost in the movie.
Yeah, he's in this house. The ghost is in this house. And you're just kind of with the ghost the whole time they're in the
Oh
house
wow.
through generations and generations. And
Wow. Is
it's
it following its own family or no? Just
it follows a couple of different, like at the beginning you think it's following one family,
okay.
and then when that family moves on, then other families move in, another family moves in, and it
Oh,
just
okay.
repeats the cycle. Goes back to what you're saying about over and over doing the same
Okay.
thing over and over
Mhm.
again.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm kind of in line with that thinking as far as the movie goes.
Yeah. Because that ending, I mean, I'm not going to give anything away, but in that ending it seems like kind of we also have another ghost. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah, so I
right.
thought that was interesting too. Was there unfinished business? Were they kind of attached to the location or kind of that symbolism too?
Yeah. So all right, so symbolism. What do you think the bomb in the center symbolized? Because I mean, obviously it was wartime, and there's a there could definitely be a bomb just in the middle of
Mhm.
the quad, I guess it is, where they were. Do you think that had any other significant meaning, or no?
Well, I kind of looked at the significance of too that when it dropped, it was kind of amazing that it didn't deploy. So there was kind of some like set unfinished business. I kind of looked at that as a theme.
Mm,
Kind of looking at it wasn't a designated time for it to go off. I think I held significance in terms of it with that and kind of tying it to the goals, all about unfinished business or kind of things not going as planned. There was a lot of things not going as planned, you know. So
right.
that's how I kind of tied in that theme a little bit.
Okay. Okay. And yeah,
Did
I'm
you get
glad you
something
said
from
that.
it?
And yeah, I was leaning pretty much along those same lines.
Yeah.
And basically that, and the other part of that I also got was that it just a symbol of how war just affects everything around it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and everybody that was there was dealing with something,
Mhm.
even if they weren't fighting, even if it was just the kids, you're still dealing with
Mhm.
the atmosphere of war
Mhm.
in your
Yeah,
whole
and
life.
that yeah, and war that can bring out the worst in people. You know what I mean? Especially those two who don't have a lot. You know, I like the elements of it. You still had those like Carlos who didn't have a lot, but still had some type of hope. But
Right.
also those two who are really kind of destitute. It kind of brought out the worst in individuals as well too.
Yeah, it definitely did.
It
It definitely
definitely did.
did. Absolutely. Because we also got a little Three Kings popping off
Oh,
towards the end of the movie.
it was, yeah.
So yeah, it definitely did do that. Just all right. So my next question is for me actually,
Mhm.
and the question is the movie. And again, since you recommended this movie, I'm going to assume that you're a big fan, and it sounds like you are through it all. All right. So overall, I would say that the movie, it like I said, it started off, not that it started off slow. I wasn't worried
Mhm.
about it being slow. It just felt disjointed.
Yeah.
So I was
Yep.
kind of waiting to see where it was going to come together.
Mhm.
When it came together, I really started to get into the movie and really started to enjoy it.
Mhm.
Um, and then when it resolved itself, when we got to the end, that was like, okay, yeah, there's hope here.
Mhm.
And I was a little surprised, I would say, by how violent it got
Oh
at
my
the end.
goodness, right? And especially for a film with kids.
With kids, yes. So I was surprised about that. I was like, wait,
Yes.
okay, we got some things happening with these kids here. I wasn't quite prepared for, but I like that the movie went there. We wasn't afraid to go there
Mhm.
with that. So overall, I would say, yeah, I really did enjoy this movie. And I mentioned before, it feels like practice for Pan's Labyrinth,
Yeah.
and that's kind of a disservice to this movie because it really is a good movie by itself.
Mhm.
It's just that
Mhm.
for me, Pan's is his masterpiece.
Oh
That's the way I
yeah.
feel
Yeah.
about that movie.
I think
And
that's how a lot of
then
people see it too. Like you said, yeah, Pans, when you say Del Toro, that's kind of where people think, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Because it is such a masterpiece. Yeah.
yeah, it absolutely is. And then the other question again was, would I recommend, not would you, there you go. Would I recommend this movie to someone else? And I would say, yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie to someone else, especially uh, to people who are willing to try a horror movie but aren't really into horror movies.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, Dell. Yeah.
Because yeah, because I was, from just the title alone and the poster, I
Mhm.
went in
Mhm.
expecting full blown horror. I
Oh
didn't,
yeah.
yeah, I didn't really read up on the movie at all. I've heard the title for years and I'm
Mhm.
familiar with it, but I didn't know what the movie was, so
Yeah.
I didn't do any research into it because I like to go into movies kind of cold if I
Oh
can.
yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah. So then when I was watching, I was like, okay, so we're not really going hard here.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's why I would say, yeah, if someone who's they're willing to try a horror-ish movie, but they're not
Yeah.
really into horror, those are people I would really recommend it to. Definitely, if you're one that's seen Del Toro's later movies and you want to see where he started, I would definitely recommend this movie to those people. Uh, Now, you obviously recommended it to me, but are there any other kinds of people that you might recommend it to?
Oh, I would kind of agree with you, Dell, because it's like I said, it's a nice introduction into horror. Because as we mentioned, the ghost story kind of takes a back seat to really what's going on. Um, another film I kind of always not equated to, but I kind of think has the same feel when I think of Devil's Backbone is like The Others. I'm not sure if you ever seen that movie with Nicole
I've,
Kidman.
I know the movie, but I've never actually watched the whole thing. I've seen pieces of it.
Yeah, that's also a great ghost story, and the ghost story is kind of trying to incorporate a bigger theme, you know what I mean? And it kind of
Mhm.
takes a little backstory to what's going on. But definitely someone who's interested in Del Toro, who loves his work, who wants to become familiar with a lot of his earlier work that doesn't really get a lot of shine. That's who I would recommend this to. So I think it's a good, like you said, a good introduction into horror if you're interested.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I mean, in so many elements, it's a good war story. You know, you got to
Mhm.
be is it can get violent when it goes there, so you got to be okay with that. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a war story. It's a
love.
twisted
There's some love.
twisted love
Love.
triangle kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
one point where the younger guy says to the older guy, he said something that kind of hurt my heart. I was like, oh
Oh
my god.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
That's that.
spoil that.
Yeah.
That was pretty tough. All right, so we're gonna get ready to switch over to the other movie. Before we do that, let's see who is still out there. And that
Mhm.
was, of course, that was Fish who was saying hey to us, and we got a lot of people saying hey to Fish.
Mhm.
Uh, Fish is low key hilarious. If you,
Oh
if you
yeah, I love Fish.
yeah, if
I was actually
he's
able to
got a
do a stream with him recently too. I just love him,
yeah, I've gotten to do one with him, so I really enjoy that.
and he has a
And
great channel too.
yes, he does. Absolutely. So yeah, guys, if you're not subscribed to everybody that's in the chat, because they all have great channels. There's a bunch of
Mhm.
great YouTubers out there. Go ahead and do that. Subscribe to each other. It's not just about myself or Mika. Uh we just you want to watch more great videos. I mean, they're all right there for you.
Mhm.
Kira says not sure who to fear more in film. Very clever storytelling. Yes, talking
Yeah.
about Devil's Backbone, Big Fish in a Little
Oh,
Pond. I love it, Bob. That's cool. Here, what's
oh.
going on, Emmett?
Mhm.
He's another person I see in
Mhm.
all streams.
Yeah.
Also, Hard Copy Blues, love the Orphanage, good.
Yeah.
The Orphanage, another good one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you missed it, Tony, or you got that comment in probably before we started talking about it. But yeah, we did hit up on that. Bob saying thanks to Vin. Fish is in the house. More
Mhm.
love for the Orphanage. A lot of
Yep.
love for the Orphanage, and that's one of those movies that before I joined the Bluetooth community or even IG, that I wasn't sure how many people had ever even heard of.
Oh, yeah. I think
But
sometimes it's still a little bit, kinda underrated.
right,
Mhm.
it is because one, us Americans and us in foreign language movies,
Oh,
we
yeah,
just
reading them and that let me say that to people too for Devil's Backbone. Yes, it does. It's a Spanish film. You're gonna have to read the
yes, you're
subtitles,
definitely.
yes.
So I used to be I used to have a blog where I talked about movies, and whenever there was a movie in a foreign language, I would say not for subtitleophobes. I called them.
Oh, oh, yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, and you miss out on so many good films though too if you having aversion to subtitles, you really do
Yeah,
yourself a disservice because foreign films are some of the best films have been, in my opinion, foreign films. So
yeah.
read those subtitles.
Now, absolutely. So then let me ask this question. And since we're on that topic, you have this movie here, and you've got the option sub to dubbed. Which way you going?
Oh no, I always say subtitles because there's like really some bad dubs. I can't take when the mouth is not matching, and it really takes away. I think when you're not listening to it in the native tongue, it really does. Like the effect, what the actor or actress is really trying to emphasize. I think you really miss that in dubs. So just devote some time to reading. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Now, I will say this: growing up on old school martial arts flicks on
Oh yeah,
TV
yeah,
back
the
in the
martial
day,
arts, yeah.
the dubs were so bad, but you got used to it. So in martial arts flicks, I don't mind it.
Yeah, martial art. Yeah, that's the martial arts. I'll give a pass to those though. Yeah.
All right. So KB says Guillermo del Toro uses humans as true monsters in his movie, from
Mhm.
Shape of Water to Pens to Backbone, and
Mhm.
yeah, that is a common theme in the movie.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right, KB. Uh, More saying hey to fish, and everybody's kind of saying hello to each other.
Oh yeah, I watched that. Yeah. Did you watch that, Del? The Toros, his that
Cabinet of
anthology series he
Curiosity.
had on
I
Netflix.
did. I did not.
Oh yeah, it was really good. And I think for each one, he did because he produced it and everything. He allowed a different director to kind of tell the story. It was really well done.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I did not watch that. A
Yeah.
lot of times, my version is to series because I don't want to watch so many episodes of one thing.
Oh, see, but Adele, I tell you right now too. TV sometimes they have some good writing with
They
these
do.
TV
So
right now. Yeah.
I've got a handful of series that I do watch,
Mm.
but a lot of times it's like, okay, you're scrolling Netflix or whatever it is, and it's like, okay, do I really want to devote more 8 episodes worth of time to something right now? And sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no.
Yeah. Or
Uh,
you could do like sometimes me and Kara go back old school, where we just like we'll do one a week, kind of spread it out back to like the old days where you had to wait for an episode.
right, right. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I watch the Marvel series. I'm a Marvel fan,
Hmm.
but the one episode and then wait for it the next week, I'm
Hmm.
cool with that, and I like the
Hmm.
anticipation. And I'm old, so that's the way I grew up. So
Crazy
it's all
though.
good. Hard copy blues. I've seen 7/8, and I've enjoyed 4 of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
it's like 3 or 4 that I really, really loved. Yeah.
Okay, okay. People saying what's Fish saying what's up to Holland and hard copy blues. Hey there, Vin. Hard copy blues. I'm in the middle of Bob's second steelbook video myself. Yes, he's
Oh yeah,
Bob's put
put
up
up a
some videos on
steal.
his
Yep.
steelbook collection. Definitely go check those out.
Oh
We
yep,
enjoy
steal.
Cabinet
Yep.
of Curiosities. There you
Hmm.
go.
Oh
Mimic
yeah,
is
I
a
love
lot of fun.
Mimic.
I agree. Mimic is a lot of
Hmm.
fun. It's been so many years since I've watched it, though. I think I might have to go back to it.
Yeah.
Did you
That's
see?
one I actually watch. I rewatch a lot too. I really enjoy that one, Mimic.
Yeah, I enjoyed it when I saw it, but it's probably been 15, 20 years since I've watched Mimic, to be honest with
Oh
you.
yeah, see, I watched that one quite a bit. Pretty at least once or twice a year. I love that one. A good creature feature.
Okay. Emmett, did you see Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Mania? I haven't seen it yet. Please don't spoil it for
Mm,
me, guys. I'm going this
no,
weekend. I hope. I hope.
no. And I'm so bad with the Marvel films. So.
I got you. Still need to watch Mimic. KB says I think Mimic is still on
Oh yeah,
HBO Max.
I do think it. Yeah, I think it is on HBO.
And I will have to check it out because I do have HBO. Uh, Tony saying thanks. Mama Blu-ray is a favorite. Of course, we know that. And Nick Curious is still
Yeah,
on our
see,
list.
Ghost
Ghost
Story.
Story.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you gotta watch
check
that.
that out. Check that out. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to the other movie. Now, this movie, I'm gonna guess we're up to 19 people, by the way, in the chat. So yeah, smash the like button if you haven't already. And I'm gonna guess out of those 19, I'm going over under 3 have seen it.
Okay, okay. 3 people probably saw it, right?
3, and that's
Okay.
being generous. Maybe if we count you and I now, we might get to
Okay.
3.
Yeah.
Did Kira watch it with you?
Yeah, I made Kira. Yeah, Kira watched it with me. Yeah.
Okay. So the movie I suggested for Mika to watch was a movie, ironically enough, directed by a set of twins, the
Yep.
Soska sisters.
Yep.
Their more famous movies, American Mary,
I
uh,
love that one. Yeah.
and they did a remake of Rabbit. I think they did.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I haven't seen Rabbit yet. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I did really like American Mary, but this was,
hmm
I believe, their debut, and this one is called Dead Hooker in a Trunk.
Love that title.
The title is amazing. The title is amazing. So what happens is, guys, we meet these two sisters, um, twin sisters. They wrote, directed, and star in the movie. And in this case, one of them is a goody two shoes, and the other
Mhm.
one's more of a hard edge kind of chick. And they go to pick up the goody two shoes one, pick her and her boyfriend up. They go to church. They have church functions, and bada boom, bada bing, they open up the trunk and there's a dead body in it. And of course, they assume it's a hooker. It's a dead woman just laying in the trunk. So, what do we do with this dead body? So, we're not going to the police. We're like, nope, we're just going to try to get rid of this body. And as they're trying to get rid of the body, people just start coming out of the woodworks after them, and it includes the police and includes some gangsters, some bad guys,
Yeah.
and they meet up with random people along the way, and things just happen. So, your first impression while you were watching, Mika?
Wow. Well, I mean, I love the Soska sisters. So I was so glad you, because I had not seen this one. And I was like, oh, okay, because I love American Mary. And of course we love Sylvia and Jen, the Soska sisters, because of course twins. And I love
Right.
how bold they are with some of the things they do in their filmmaking. And this movie was that. You know what I mean? They went all out, with this film. So at first, Kira and I were watching it, and every second we kept going like, what? Because that's what the movie's about. Like, what? Like, it's just so much. It's just crazy. Everything left and right every minute. So that was me through the whole movie.
Yes, yes. There was a lot of that first time I saw it. It was like it was just every few seconds. It was something. Every few minutes, it was something happened. We just go, wait, what? What? How?
Oh,
Why?
yeah. I mean, the violence, kind of who they encountering, kind
hmm
of like just the adventures. It was just crazy. You just really like, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
Exactly, exactly. So before we talked a lot about story when we talked about Devil's Backbone. We talked a lot about the story, and I gave you about as much synopsis as I could for this movie. So my question, Mika, is there a plot?
Well, you know what? I think it is. Well, even though it's doing a lot of crazy things, I think there is a plot because they are trying to get rid of this hooker in the trunk. You know what I mean?
hmm
So
hmm
they do have a goal. So I do think there's a plot. It's just like the mayhem they get into in trying to get rid of this hooker is just like, whoa. You know what I mean? So I mean, they're dealing with the police, they're dealing with sketchy motel owners, like you said, they're
hmm
dealing with pimps, they're dealing with junkies. I just like it's fun.
It was I had a blast with this movie,
Mhm.
and it's not a movie where I'm gonna be like, okay, we gotta give this movie Academy Awards and this kind of
Oh
thing.
no, no, no.
But if you just want to see something bonkers,
Yeah, and I like that with the Soska sisters too, because even though sometimes some people might is a lot of violence and a lot of sometimes violence with women, they do it in a way which I kind of enjoy with their films is um they do it in a good way. There's a reason for why they have the violence. I like the kind of grindhouse style with it, especially like I said, I think the main sister is called like badass or something like that. That's what they kind of name her character.
yeah,
They really show kind of the different sides of the sisters, that empowerment, that like you said, that goody two shoes. But they kind of justify the violence, even though the violence is kind of off the wall. I kind of like that with them because you see that in American Mary too. I think that's really they shining star. Like we said, Pan's Labyrinth for Del
hmm
Toro, probably
hmm
American Mary for the Soska sisters. But for their debut, it was kind of giving us a taste of where they were going, I think, in their filmography. So I really enjoyed it.
oh, absolutely. And so to me, the violence, like you said, is justified for me because they're never helpless victims.
Oh yes, yep.
So a lot of, especially movies directed by guys, even the ones that are kind of like revenge fantasies, that where
Mhm.
the woman gets revenge on guys. There's always that long period, that long stretch where the woman is just this helpless victim
Yeah, yeah.
before she gets the revenge.
Mhm.
Well, this movie is not a revenge movie, but there's not that period. There's never a part where they're just helpless victims. And in this part,
Mhm.
you have a group of women, and they're all different, different levels of courageous,
Mhm. Mhm.
and just for anybody who hasn't seen it, which I'm sure is most of you. When she talked about Goody Shoes and Badass, those are actually the characters' names in the
Yeah.
credits.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what those characters are. So Goody Two Shoes is more meek, and Badass is definitely always in your face,
Mhm.
ready to do
Mhm.
some things.
Yeah, and I loved how they, like I said too, with the social sisters, with them being real life twins. I loved seeing that in the film too, because that made me wonder too. Maybe I don't know if that's part of their personalities outside too, where one twin may be a little bit more reserved, and another one maybe a little bit more in your face, or kind of like more stand up for herself. But I really loved that trajectory we had with the two sisters. That was so great to see. And I really agree with you, Del, too. These weren't women who were just idly sitting by. They had voices. They weren't going to be victimized. They had a plan to stick to. And whoever kind of got in the way, badass really was badass about handling it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of those things where if she wasn't the one of the good guys in the movie,
Oh, yeah,
you'd be horrified because
I know.
she's right on that psychopath line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You glad you on your side. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But what was funny about that though is there are other scenes where there was the other girl that was with them, and I'm drawing
Oh,
a blank on her name.
junkie, I think, right? Junkie. I think that's what they kind of called her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was kind of the third wheel almost, and but she was more in line with Badass, but she was still kind of an intermediate
Mhm.
between the sisters.
Mhm.
And there were times when she just basically just checked Badass for doing something. She could
Mhm.
do something, and she'd be like, well, this, and this, and Badass would kind of back down. So it wasn't like she was just, 100% balls to the wall. I'm going to kill everybody. You got
Oh
to see
yeah.
that, there were boundaries within the relationships that she
Mhm.
had with
Oh
her
yeah.
people.
Mhm.
So I really like that. What'd you think of the guy that was with them?
Oh my. Well, at first his introduction had me dying because we meet him at the youth, I think it was like the youth ministry session.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was like so like total opposite for to all three of them. You know what I mean? And it was kind of, I think one scene that really had me dying was kind of when he kind of went off a little unhinged and was cursing and doing profanity. I liked him because he was kind of like that moral compass. Not that
Hmm.
anyone was really listening to him, you know what I mean? But he kind of was like a little bit of the moral compass. But I really enjoyed him. He gave some great comedy.
He did. He did. And,
Yeah.
and
He was
yeah.
always throwing up every
Oh
couple of
man.
seconds.
Oh, that that was a lot. That was a lot. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, and I liked because him and Goody Two Shoes, they kind of had a little thing.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of like that.
So I like they were both awkward about it.
Oh yeah.
They were real awkward about it because and again it goes back to that him being the youth minister,
Yeah.
and her kind of being also in that same world, and definitely with the Goody Two Shoes name. So I like that they were kind of awkward, and we got to see Goody Two Shoes especially kind of grow,
Mhm.
and
Yeah. And she got a
so
little badass in her too towards the
right,
end. Yeah, yeah.
right. So it was kind of like, so she Goody Two Shoes, she kind of moved towards being a badass, and
Mhm.
Badass, I wouldn't say really moved towards being Goody Two Shoes, but
Yeah.
she softened up a bit at the end
Yeah,
when
yeah.
especially when things were going on with her sister. She kind of
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of got it
and that's
together towards
I
the
love that too about the Dell too, because you did see them kind of clashing heads a lot, and at one
end.
point too, I mean, Badass kind of took her out. But I like that though because they still had that, as siblings, you still kind of have that love hate kind of relationship, and,
Right.
and they did a good job of still being there for each other, even though they did have their own issues with
Yeah,
one another. Yeah.
they definitely had issues with one another.
Hmm.
It was one of those things where I wasn't real sure that they actually liked each other.
Oh, I'm telling you, and then it's not a spoiler, but I think when Goody Two Shoes called the cops, I was dying on that part. Like when she kept calling the cops, I said, "Girl, on your sister." It was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, it was funny. There's actually a lot of funny moments in the
Oh
movie,
yeah.
but it's definitely one of those dark comedies or bizarre
Oh
comedies.
yeah.
It was just, yeah, it's not one you put on for somebody who likes your regular run of the mill comedy. That's for sure.
Oh no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. I think it'll take I think it's a special person who will kind of really like stay with it because, like I said, it
Mhm.
does kind of move around so much. There's a lot going on. So I don't know. For me, I loved it though. You know what I mean? I really did enjoy it. So
Okay, okay. So now you kind of hitting on this with twins being in the movie. So obviously that's something that you can relate to more than I can because I'm not a twin.
mhm.
So how much of that feels true to life to you? And
Mhm.
obviously I don't mean all the extreme violence and
Oh
all that
yeah.
stuff, but but just the relationship factors between the two.
Oh, I love that, and I'm like I said, and I watched some of the Soska's interviews. I really can relate to because with twins, you do have a connection, but it could be the one person I think you're so close that you also can have the most like I said, that love hate push pull relationship where you
Okay.
just want to like take out that other person because they know you so well.
Hmm.
And then I think also that yin and yang. I liked, like I said, one was more assertive, one was more reserved. They kind of balanced each other out, and even with Kira and myself, we had that. Like we're kind of the qualities I lack in, she kind of has, and
Hmm.
vice versa. And we kind of always balance each other out. So I definitely related to that aspect of it. I could definitely see that with twins,
Okay.
especially with us. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So there was so many characters coming in.
Oh yeah.
So there was so many people just coming in. At was there a point where you just felt overwhelmed?
Oh no, I just saw you tell I was just dying because, like I said, the people they encountered. No, even the serial killer. Maybe like I said, when we had the serial killer going on too, I was just like, okay. So now it was just it was fun, but it was a lot of characters. But I just kept laughing with all these introductions of different people.
Hmm.
I think, and what was so interesting is they dealing with all these people. They trying to get rid of this hooker. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
No, but every character they introduced was more like bonkers than the next one. You know what I mean? So, like I
Oh,
said, yeah.
it was really a case of the movie kind of look at you and be like, you thought that was crazy. Watch
Yeah,
this.
who's worse? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I said, you deal with like the pimp, the junkies, the serial killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. There was definitely a whole bunch going on. So now, with that being said, we talked about Devil's Backbone with themes and eventually some hope and some lessons. Any kind of themes going on here that actually matter?
Oh, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Well, I think I would take the theme. I would kind of maybe I think the ultimate theme was looking at the sisters and their relationship because it was very
Mhm.
very strange initially, and I think it did a flashback too of kind of their childhood briefly and kind of what they grew up
Yeah,
in. Uh,
a couple
yeah,
times, yeah.
yeah, a couple times, and kind of what caused it to be a little strained too. But I think the overall theme was kind of resiliency in terms of all these impeding factors that was so off the wall and kind of trying to stay reserved and kind of meet that common goal. But overall, the thing was the sisters because they were working out their own issues throughout the movie. And I liked at the end of it, we kind of get some resolves because they kind of had that closeness. Because at one point I was like, I was like, I don't think they like each other at
Right.
all,
At all.
And so I think that was the over sounding theme. I
Yeah.
really just was hoping that they would resolve their issues, kind of figure out what's going on because I'm like, you have a lot to deal with in this movie. So you guys need to cut your crap. So I think that was the overall theme.
So, all right, yeah, I'm right there with you on that, and it brings up for me. We talked about with Del Toro again, and KB brought it up. There's common themes that run throughout the movies, and for me, for the Soskas, uh, one thing is that if you look at just the surface of it, it's a real nihilist kind
Oh yeah, yeah.
of. They're gonna destroy some stuff.
Mhm.
Some people are gonna get hurt, and it's gonna be graphic.
Mhm.
But underneath it, there is that, there are those relationships that evolve throughout the course of the movie. So
Mhm.
I did really enjoy that. We have a visitor behind you, just popped
Oh.
in.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's my poppy. I know he just chillaxed.
Yeah, he just tends to, hey, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, that's my old man. He's 17.
Whoa, 17.
Yeah, just old man. He just plopped.
That's like 907 in cat years,
I
isn't
tell you, yeah, yeah. No, but I got that Dell too because, like I said, over throughout the movie, it was those relationships. They would kind of all ride or die for each other. I got,
it?
even though it seemed at points they couldn't stand each other, all four characters were really ride or die for each other, and had to be because, like I said, they were dealing with just people chasing them and all these problems that were ensuing. So I like that. You can see that with the Soska sisters, but like you said, they are going to give it to you raw. They're going to
Yeah.
give it to you unfiltered. They're going to give you some graphic violence. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But again, I don't think they do it in a way that's gratuitous, if that makes sense.
That's interesting. It hmm.
Maybe that one hotel scene though. That one that did bother me and Kira. I'm not going to spoil it, but that hotel scene with the, do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, I
With
do.
the
Uh-huh.
that kind of, I think that really kind of bothered me out of the movie. That scene,
Uh,
yeah,
it's
we
one
were
of those
kind
things
of
where
like, oh,
I would say, yeah, sometimes it can be gratuitous, but it's one of those things where once you hit play on that movie, you signed up for it.
yeah, yeah. I think out of the movie, that was the scene that kind of really a little bit that disturbed me because I
Yeah,
was like, ooh, you know what I mean? That part
yeah.
with the at the motel. But no, I stuck with it. I stuck with it.
Okay. All right. Let's see who's sticking with us right now. All right. Well, Tony says y'all will enjoy it. Kira, I think he's talking
Oh,
about Ghost
Ghost
Story.
Story, yeah.
Hmm. And Kira responded, nice. We'll definitely plan to watch, perhaps this weekend. Sounds like you got a date, Mika. And I wonder if the leg injury was due to something with that bomb. We're still talking about Ghost Story on there. Yeah, so
Mm.
we did touch on that. And that was kind of my thing was, did it come from that?
Or like
Or,
the war or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And the film did not
Oh
hold
yeah.
back. Was unafraid to take chances indeed.
Yeah, we was just like, what the hell? That I think that was our overall when we kept turning to each other like, what the hell is going on in this movie?
Yeah, exactly. What is happening? All right. Yes, KB Kira loves Mimic. Walter's here. What's up, Walter? Jonesing for movies. Hi,
Mhm.
chat. Hi, Del and Mika. Love me some Del Toro. Devil's Backbone is
Oh,
excellent
Crimson
cinema.
Peak. Yeah,
Crimson Peak
Crimson
is
Peak.
awesome as well. I'm gonna play bad guy here because I was not a fan of Crimson Peak. I
Oh, really?
promise
I
you.
loved Crimson Peak.
I did not like that movie. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
I loved it. Yeah.
it was I don't know. It just didn't work for me.
I know that was a hit or miss for people. Yeah, I enjoy that one.
Yeah, subs all the way. Thank you, Walter. Really appreciate it. And while you're at it, sub to everybody that's down here in the chat.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because there's some great content out there. Missing out on some great films and television series if you are against subtitles. Missing
Yep.
out. Yes, Kira,
Hmm.
we definitely agree. Kira is talking to Walter, definitely. And I prefer
Yeah.
subs to Tony prefers
Hmm.
subs. Walter says too true to Kira about the
Yeah, gotta do
subtitles.
the subs. Yeah.
Got to do the subs. Mizzy's laughing. I'm not sure if that's a laugh like I watch dubs. What? Let me know, Mizzy. Is I prefer dubs or is that just
Yeah,
laughing,
dubs
knowing
or subs, Miss Busy. Dubs or subs.
laughing? There you go. Hashtag dubs or subs. There
I
you go.
know that's gonna be a new hashtag.
KB got to watch Shape of Water. So Kira, have you seen Shape of Water, Mika?
I haven't seen Shape of Water, and I always get that confused with the other one because I haven't seen that either, Lady in the Water. But I know the difference. But no, I haven't seen either. So
this is it's an interesting movie. I really like it,
Yeah,
and
people said they've liked it.
yeah, it was up for a bunch of Oscars, and I believe it won a couple. It is a. I'm sorry, hold on, guys. My laptop is trying to die on me.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I know we just had to order a new charger for this laptop because it was DOA this whole week. It just died all of a sudden. That charger.
Yeah, I understand that one, and this one is
Yeah,
super.
luckily it came today. Yeah, because it just broke like a day and a half ago.
Mm. There we go. Okay, we guys, you know what happens when you're working live. But yeah, check out Shape of Water if you
Okay,
get a
yeah.
chance, and it's definitely a case of where the human is more monster than the monster. That's for sure.
Of course, that always seems to be the case.
Yeah. Black Mirror though, I have not seen Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, we
I
saw
think I've
Black
seen
Mirror.
half an episode at one point, and I know it's supposed to be the greatest thing ever. But what are we, like 80 seasons in now? So I'm like, I don't want to touch that.
Tell you can ration it out, ration it out.
It's hard to do when you're trying to watch all these movies
I
too.
know. See, so, oh my gosh.
Tony, all about the TV series.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's so much. That's what Kira and I was saying. I remember when it used to be like you just had your set designated channels and your TV shows. Now it's so much content. Like all these streaming platforms, it's just like it's overwhelming how much content there
Yeah,
is.
it's crazy. You can never watch it all. Hi, Del and Mika. Gus is here. We
Yes.
got to say Gus. What's up, Gus?
Yes.
And he's saying hey to all the chatty people. And Tony gives us the Gus. Now, one thing I in the chats I often see is I will see Gus pop up, and then I will see you do the Gus thing. I usually do the Gus things, and he doesn't treat me like he treats you. He just says, "Hey, Del." For you, it's Mika. But yeah, Gus is definitely cool.
Oh
Everybody
yeah, I
saying,
love
"Hey,
Gus.
Gus." Tony, Mirza, and Holland
Mirza.
just saying what's up to everybody. And Kira watched the film because of the double
Oh
LOLs.
yeah, oh
I'm out
yeah.
dead hooker in the trunk.
Yeah, so let's watch. Oh, when I told her the title, she was like, "What?" I said, "Oh, let's watch this." I said, "She said, what is it called?" I said, "Oh, Dead Hooker in the Trunk."
Yep, there she is. That title had me shook.
Yeah, that title had her shook. She's like, "What?"
Great title and twins. Holland says, "Great title. Need to see this." Holland, yeah. If you just want to see something, just go balls to the wall. Just definitely watch it. Definitely check it out.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's what it is.
Walter says he has to check out this movie. Sounds like Weekend at Bernie's on speed. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That is an interesting way to put it, Walter. I really like that. That is definitely an interesting way to put it. I hadn't thought about that. Holland is insane.
Bonkers describes it. Yeah.
Absolutely. His character was really the only one taken aback when they first discovered the hooker in the trunk. They're talking about the youth minister guy.
Yeah.
In the movie. And
I know, because we kind of laughed at that too, because everyone was like, "Oh, okay," except him. You know what I mean? Because I said he's throwing up every second, but like, "Oh, there's just a dead hooker in the trunk."
Yeah, exactly. He was like, "Oh my god," and he's throwing up everywhere, and they were like, "It's Tuesday. What was the problem?"
I know it's getting in the way of our errands.
Yeah, basically. I would have fainted. Her name is Goody Two Shoes. Two as in the number two. Goody Two Shoes. So yeah, he's laughing at that.
Mm-hmm.
Emmett, how would you compare the Batman movies to the Superman movies?
I like Batman.
You like the Batman? I'm more of a fan of Batman, and to be honest, I think he's just got better movies overall.
Mm.
But I will say this, Emmett, it's fascinating to me that over the last 2 years, that Man of Steel is suddenly super popular.
Mm.
I remember when it came out, I liked it, but and most people were kind of iffy on it. It was like, okay, it's pretty good, or it's not my thing, but nobody was in love with it. But now every time I go online, I see somebody, just riding for Man of Steel. Usually movies go the other way. They start off real popular and everybody hates it. Kira said, I see nothing like it as far as the trunk.
Oh, yeah. That's on our, like never, it was like interesting, yeah. We
Who
had a
has
rod though. We had a rod with that one. I was like, what?
yeah, who has seen anything like it?
I
I mean,
know. That's what I said, and I was shocked too. I hadn't seen it, so as soon as I said, "Oh, Soska Sisters," you know what I mean? Because I love American Mary. I said, "Okay, let me see this."
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Ben Buster, sorry I'm late. No, you're right on
All right,
time, Ben
Ben.
Buster. If you made it here, you are right on time, sir. But you can check out the replay for the beginning to see what we talked about earlier. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, we talked about Guillermo del Toro's The Devil's Backbone, and we had a good time with that. Mizzy subs, thank you, appreciate that, kind sir. And let's go ahead and finish up on Dead Hooker in the Trunk. So I'm gonna start with this part. For me, why did I recommend this movie? Now, of course, the first thing that jumps out is the obvious thing, the twins.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is you are well known, you and the twin are well known for being horror fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to find a horror movie that I didn't think you had seen. That was
Oh, okay.
first off. But and I remember just we've spoken a little bit before, and I knew that you were fans of the Soska sisters. I didn't know if you had seen this one though.
Mm-hmm.
And see if she's seen it. I don't know. All right, so now we're gonna turn over to you to ask you your overall thoughts on Dead Hooker in the Trunk.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it was. I would classify it as a wild ride. You know what I mean? So from start to finish, it's gonna have you on a rod basically. But I really enjoyed it. Like I said, there was some scenes which I mentioned that were kind of took me aback because it is violence and gory. And that one scene in particular, I wasn't a fan of. But overall, love the Soska sisters. Like I said, I love the elements with the twins. I love the dichotomy of the two. One being more badass and kind of in your face, and one being that meek and reserved one. I think, like I said, even though it may not seem like it, the film did have a plot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And overall I did see resolution, and at the core of the film I did like the friendships, and that, like I said, that they were really ride or die for each other. I do love the bonkerness of it all, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I think for this year so far, I don't think anything is going to top it. So like I said, I think overall I would say I did enjoy it. Yeah, I can see it's not a film for everyone because I'm going to say it does kind of go there, like you said, Dell, with the violence. So you have to be mindful of that because it does not shy away from it.
Okay, so that you kind of led into my question here. Who would you recommend it to someone else? I think the better question would be, who would you recommend it to?
Yeah, see, that's what I have to look at because I would recommend it, but I would kind of maybe be selective at who I'm recommending it to because I would think I would have to, knowing what the movie is, I would have to know that that person would be kind of into that, or if that makes sense. Because like I
Yeah.
said, that grindhouse style kind of violence, not everyone is a fan of that. And like I said, I think some of the scenes, like that hotel scene with the violence and with the women, that might throw people off. So I would recommend it, but it would probably be selective.
Definitely, definitely. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not for everybody.
Oh, no, no, no. I can see people checking out on a couple scenes. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. So for all the people in the chat, just be forewarned.
Oh yeah.
If you put it on, you are in for it.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you bow out, I won't judge. I will
Oh
not judge
no.
you if you bow
Nope.
out.
Nope. Nope.
If you make it all the way through, there's a badge of honor for you somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I will say for that. All right, so we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. I'm gonna take one more quick look in the chat, see who's still sticking around. It looks like we got about 16 folks in. Definitely like, if you haven't hit the like button already, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to Meka. Her and Kira have a stream coming up. I'll let her tell you more about that in a few minutes. Like and videos, and subscribe to each other's channels because there are a lot
Yep.
of great content creators out there in the
Oh
chat.
yeah. And I'm
Uh,
loving all the content. So many like live streams and options like every day. I'm loving it.
It is. I can't.
Mhm.
I talked about TV series taking time away from my movies. These live
I
streams are taking
know.
time away.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's what I said. Yeah, squeezing in the movies and the live streams.
yeah, it gets tough. It gets tough, but I enjoy it. So, Kira, I love this concept, Dell. Thank you, Kira. Swapping movies. It's great to introduce someone to a film they haven't seen. Recommend some good flicks.
Mhm.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I try. I don't know how many more Dead Hooker in the Trunks kind of movies we got left, but
I know, and that stumped me though. I was like,
yeah.
oh, I said, okay, no, I have not seen that.
Turner fan is here. He
All
says,
right,
"What's up?"
Turner
So
fan.
Turner fan, in his next comment, he says, "Sorry, I'm late. What films are we talking about?" So we are talking about Devil's Backbone, Guillermo del Toro's first movie, and the that we talked about that first, and we just finished up talking about our second movie, which is the Soska Sisters, Dead Hooker in a Trunk. Yes, that is the actual title. So Turner fan, or Rich, as we's also known, he's another one with a great channel. I
Oh yeah.
really love his series. What are you What am I watching, Dad? Where he has his daughter watch a movie with him,
Oh,
usually an
awesome.
older movie, and she tells, gives it the thumbs up or thumbs down. Kids, they don't like anything, but hey,
Oh yeah.
and he also does a lot of great work with David from the 4K Lowdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that channel. That's good.
Yeah,
Sometimes I get a chance to jump in too on the chat for this. Great
yeah.
channel.
You guys gave a good warning prior to watching. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to with this
Oh
movie.
yeah, you do.
You have to. You just can't throw that on
Oh
somebody.
no,
You
no, no, no.
can't spring that on. You might lose a friend over that.
I know. They went, what the heck?
No, they'll start looking at you sideways
I
like
know.
you like this.
I know.
All right, and Turner fan says thank you, and we appreciate you guys. You guys do great stuff. So you
They
are
do.
well deserving of those comments. Great dialogue tonight. Thank you, Kira. And Walter, great live stream. Thanks, Dell and Mika. Great
Oh,
content tonight.
thanks.
I appreciate all the
Mhm.
love, guys. Um, we're gonna get ready to get out of here. So of course, I'm gonna turn it over to my guest and tell us, whatever it is you guys have coming up next. And it is all yours.
Oh, okay. So hi everyone. Thanks again, Dale, for having me. I had so much fun swapping movies. I love, like I said, I love the concept of that deal. It's a great chance for fellow movie lovers to kind of watch some movies that they haven't seen. Um, Coming up for us on that Double Feet podcast, we're doing for the month of March. We just posted a film challenge. We'll be doing 31 days celebrating women in film since it's Women History Month. And we have a couple hashtags for the 31 days to follow along. So check that out. Also, we're going to be doing a live stream. We're just going to go for it, you guys. Next Friday, I think we're going to do 8 p.m. So it's just a live Q&A. Me and Kira just hanging out, playing with the StreamYard. Ask us your questions. Come hang out, and follow us at Double Feet Podcast for all things with us, I guess.
All right, cool. And I forgot to ask about this earlier or mention it. For February, February's Black History Month,
Mhm.
you and Kira were doing 31 Days of Black Horror.
Oh yeah, so actually on at Double Feet Podcast, we're doing black films for Black History Month, and also on my other Instagram at Double Horror Pack, I'm celebrating Black horror for Black History Month. So I'm watching two movies a night. So one for at Double Feet Podcast, which today we did Do the Right Thing, and then after this I'm gonna be watching tonight's gonna be Blade for my Black horror.
All right, so Do the Right Thing, my all-time fave. So I'm not. I'm just gonna leave that right there. But my question is really for the Black horror movies. Did you find any gems that you hadn't seen before?
Hmm. Well, there was some new ones this last year that I liked. Because I kind of watched the same ones, But Nanny is one I enjoyed that came out last year, 2022. Also, Sissy is a great one that I watched last year, which was through Shudder. So those are two new ones that I discovered, and a couple horror series TV. Though From was a great one that premiered last year, and it comes back this April. So those are all great black horror series, but horror series or horror films in general.
All right.
Yeah.
So when I go back through, I might watch the replay and just jot those titles down because I'm gonna forget them as
Oh
soon as I
yeah, really good.
cut this off. All right. So for me, guys, if you hang around this channel, we'll get more episodes of Movie Swap next week on the 28th, Tuesday the 28th, same bat time, same bat channel. My guest is going to be Mizzy E, who's down there in the chat, or he's been
Oh,
down there most of the night.
Missy.
So we're gonna have probably more popular movies. You know, nothing too crazy. No more hookers and trunks.
I know.
But I won't. I won't spoil what we're gonna have. Just come back and check us out for that. I'm also working on a couple of videos. I'm also a big superhero fan. I mentioned Marvel a couple times, so I will have a video coming up for all the superhero content that I watched in 2022, and
Oh,
a ranking video for that.
oh wow.
And then I'm gonna try to get it out before the end of February, but it might not be till early March. But I'm also gonna rank every black-led superhero movie that's been made.
Oh
So
wow. That's awesome.
thank you. Be on the lookout for those videos, guys. Again, I appreciate everybody that hung out with us tonight. We just gonna do a quick run because I just saw a couple of
Oh
names
yeah, we see some people come in. Yep.
popping in. Well, of
Oh,
course,
thank you,
KB, he
KB.
says great one for us, and of course there's Kira
Oh,
again,
yeah. Good Madam
and
was a good film too. Yep.
I will have to check that one out. And then we got the superstar, the Oscar winner,
Hey
Ken from
Kim.
Mid Level Media. What's going on, Ken? Always appreciate when Ken is able to stop in. Then we got a few people just saying hey and agreeing with each other. And send Mizzy on a ride. I don't know if there is another ride out there like this one. I'm gonna be real honest. And Holland
Oh yeah, I
agrees.
can't wait to see what you guys pick.
And Mizzy says thanks. So we're looking forward to it.
Oh,
And
Blank
Blank
Man. Oh,
Man,
I love that one.
Blank Man will definitely be on that list, Ken, because it's out there.
Oh,
And
oh, Master. Yep. Yep.
Master on. I did watch Master. I
Yeah,
watched
with
that's the
Regina
only.
Hall. Did you
Yeah,
like it?
I did like it. I watched that. I might have watched it during October, but yeah, I actually did enjoy that one. So that is
Yeah.
one to look for if you want more black horror movies
Mhm.
because there you got to kind of search for them.
Oh yeah, you do. You do. We got some good writers behind the helm. So like the most popular one right now, Akila Cooper. She's doing a
Uh-huh.
great Hellfest, Malignant, Megan, and she's writing the new Nun too. So she's doing great. Black screenwriter
Okay. Okay.
and woman.
And Woman, yes.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, The Harbinger.
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't seen that one
Yeah, that's a
either.
good one.
And Ken, I think he's talking about Blank Man. He says all time favorite needs a Blu-ray.
Oh, I
I
love
totally
Blade
agree.
Man. Yeah.
Totally
So
agree.
funny.
Definitely needs a Blu-ray. Well, that's it, guys. Once again, I appreciate everybody that hung out with us tonight. Please come back, hang out with me next week. Again, Mizzy's going to be here. We're going to talk more movies. Until next time, that's all we got for you guys. Catch you on the next one. Bye.